Starts recording.
Okay. No, speaking of videos, last weekend, instead of bothering with Super Bowl stuff, I finally caught up, Chewy, with finishing your Walking Dead series. I still hadn't watched Chapter 4 or Chapter 5 of Season 1.
Oh wow.
So I watched those. Yeah, it's from when they first get into Savannah until the end of the first season.
Yeah.
And the ending got me pretty bad. I'm going to admit that.
I should hope so.
There was like for real sobbing.
Yeah. Straight up.
Yeah.
And if not, then that means you're some sort of soulless automaton.
Hmm.
Or you're a very, very well programmed soulless automaton. So there you go. It's either Mike is actually human or he's well programmed. Either way.
Yeah, one of those.
See why it took me so long to get through the damn series?
Oh yeah, I know, because I watched
God.
them all too. I know how much of a downer it was.
And what was the name of the series?
The
This
Walking
is
Dead.
the first.
Oh, The Walking
Yeah,
Dead.
the first
Hmm.
Telltale The Walking Dead series. Where just every episode is just a depressing slog. It's really good, but it's
Hmm.
such a bummer. That's why it took me. Oh God, I'm afraid to go look at how long it took me from the time I started the first one to the time I finished the last one.
Quite a while.
If it
Is
wouldn't
it the
surprise
comic
me if
books
it
or
was
the
like
show?
8-9 months. What was
You
that,
talk about?
Dirk?
Are you talking about the comic books or the show?
No, the game.
Oh,
Yeah,
the game.
which I guess is
Oh,
kind of in between the two.
Yeah, it's mostly based on the comic lore. Actually, when I say mostly, I mean it has nothing to do with the TV shows.
yeah.
But yeah, it was the Telltale Games doing their modern revamp of point and click adventure games and video game storytelling and whatnot. And like they've been doing it for several years, but when that first season of The Walking Dead game came out, they got a huge like boost, and that led to, as Jars just pointed out, Fables, The Wolf Among Us, and then more Walking Dead, and then they did things like
Batman.
they did Batman eventually. They did the Guardians of the Galaxy. They did God, what else came after Walking Dead? Minecraft story mode.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, they did a Game of Thrones, Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff like that. Even before that, they did before The Walking Dead, they did like Jurassic Park and Back to the Future and
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People.
Right.
Like all that was Telltale.
There's also a series of Sam and Max games.
Yeah, yeah, they did their own series of Sam and Max games. They did freaking oh god, what was that other one? Puzzle Agent, and they even did the night the poker night at the inventory, I think it was called.
Okay, I was wondering about that. I was thinking, but I wasn't sure that they did Poker Night at the Inventory, but that was them.
I think yeah, well yeah, it was.
Hmm.
So yeah. So they'd been doing it for a while, but like I said, the Walking Dead game, the timing, because of the show and because of just how good that first chapter was, or not chapter, that first, well actually yeah, the first chapter, but that first season
Hmm.
was just unreal. And it sort of catapulted them into stardom. And now, sadly, Telltale is no more, and they had to. I forget who, but some other company has decided they will finance finishing the final uh, Walking Dead game
Oh,
because it only got one or two chapters out when Telltale went belly up, and then they were done. They're like, okay, this is going to end up unfinished, and nerds went, what? Because that's awful.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, that ate up enough time. Let's start the show.
Sounds good.
I know a great way to start it.
Yes, with silence. Shh.
I was thinking some seagulls.
Will you
Stop
hush?
it now.
No, no, damn it, no, damn it. Oh, Jam. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mana Pool. I hate my co-host Dirk. I'm Chewy, and I hate Dirk.
Tonight on a very special episode of the Mana Pool, Dirk ruins everything.
Okay, so hello everyone. This is the Mana Pool number 542. I was not kidding. I am Chewy, the lead dork, and I do hate Dirk. So with me as always are some other Dirks. No, damn it. Some other dorks and one jerk. Oh, you people tell us who you are.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead Rambler Tangent Master of the group, and it's Thursday, so I'm not Dirk today.
All right. I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy, and it is 8:40 p.m., so I am not Dirk right now.
And I am Dirk at all times, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And as was stated, I am ruining everything.
Before we even started the pre-show odds and ends, Dirk had dropped the "Stop It Seagulls" bad lip reading thing in the chat, and it was immediately in our heads, and we swore at Dirk, and now it just keeps going. Hey, and Pinball Witch is on an 18-month streak with the subscription. Thank you. And they're arguing about being Stark Maximum or Stark Medium in the chat. So, hello everyone. This is the Mana Pool, as we said, and we're just gonna dive right in. We only have the one thing to talk about this. What is this? This week? There we go. Wait, how long until I'm Dirk again? Wait. I mean, nothing. Dirk is always Dirk at all times. Anyway. So yeah, we only have one topic this week, but it's actually bigger than I originally anticipated, and that is a Mythic Conscription of Mirage. Now, for those that don't remember, Mythic Conscription is where we go through old sets that were before the Mythic Rarity. Yes, kids, Mythic Rarity is actually pretty new as far as, well, Magic goes. As a matter of fact, aren't we older than Mythic Rarity as the Mana Pool?
The Mana Pool started before it was Alara. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we started with Morningtide.
Right.
Yeah. So, for all you
we
kids,
did not predate Planeswalkers.
We just missed that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I say we started during Morningtide, but that was just our first pre-release after the show started, right? Didn't we do Morningtide previews? I think we did.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Alara block is when we started this whole mess. So.
What? No.
The madness.
We started with Morningtide. Was our first new set since we started the Mana Pool. Okay. Alara block is where Mythics started. Right? Wasn't it Shards?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right.
First Mythic card they ever previewed was Sarkhan Vol.
Oh my god, it was, wasn't it?
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Man, he was so awesome.
Yeah, he was. Anyway, so yes. Mythic Conscription is where we go back to those old pre-Mythic sets and try to figure out which of the rares in the set, if any, would be Mythic if Mythics were a thing back then. And it leads to bizarre discussions and sometimes just general head shaking at old card design.
Mm-hmm.
We used to jump around a lot and do sets just whenever it came to us, and then okay, let's do this set, and then the next time we would do the next set in the block, and the next time we'd do the next set in the block. But ever since we actually decided that was hard to keep track of, we've just started at the beginning and are moving forward in time. So the last one we did was Fallen Empires, God help us all. So the next set...
I missed that one.
The next set up, because we already did Ice Age and Homelands, and Cold Snap, and the other one, Alliances. Next up is Mirage. And Mirage is from 1996. Phew.
God, I started high school.
Yeah. October 1996. So I was 15 when this came out. And please, chat, don't tell me, oh, I was not alive yet. Just don't even. If you're typing that, just stop. Because I know some of you were typing that. But anyway, so yeah, it's 1996. Now, a thing that I noticed immediately when we started looking at Mirage was that Mirage feels less. I can't use the word I used in the odds and ends. Clown Fiesta like.
Yeah.
It's less all over the place. It feels more like a modern set than the sets that came before it, but still not like a modern set, but closer to that than like Ice Age and Fallen Empires. And it turns out it's because Mirage was one of the first sets developed for sealed deck play, so they actually had to like look at limited for one of the first times.
Yeah, and make sure stuff worked together straight out of the box.
Yeah. So hopefully that means there's less just, oh God, what were they thinking? And it turns out there is. So let's dive into it, gentlemen. And also Dirk.
Aww.
Hey, the seagulls, man.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah. What are we... Well, first, do we have anything about Mirage in general, or should we just dive right in?
I'm okay to dive right in. I was going to ask...
the only other person that was playing back then.
Yeah, let's see. I was first taught to play around the time Ice Age released, and it wasn't until the next year that I started accumulating more cards. So that would have been when Mirage was being released, and there was just a ton of exciting stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember it being really aggravated when a creature with flanking would attack me, and I couldn't try to block because my creatures would just die pointlessly.
Yep. Turns out that's what flanking was meant to do. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I was also playing back then. Again, I was 15, almost 16 when it released. So yeah. And this is right before I started to fall out. Like, it was Mirage, and then Visions, and then with Weatherlight, I think I bought like 2 or 3 packs total, and then I was done until college.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I remember I was still in it with Mirage, and I was super excited for all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And some of which we're going to touch on in this episode, so cool.
Yeah. Let's think. The named mechanics would have been flanking and phasing. I think those were the named mechanics.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not sure whether there were any real heavy themes going through it. I was recently listening to an episode of Mark Rosewater's podcast where he was talking about sets with different factions in them. And there's like 3 major civilizations that are featured in Mirage Block.
Right.
The Femaref, the Zephyrin, and the
red ones. The
Cicada.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's nothing really... Like, you just kind of get that from the flavor text and the names of cards. There's nothing mechanical that separates them from each other. Or gives you a real idea of what they're... Oh, Pinball Witch mentioned cumulative upkeep. Yeah, but at that point, that was more like... Nowadays, they call it a deciduous mechanic rather than an evergreen one. But yes, cumulative upkeep was used in this set for various things. In this block.
Yeah. Okay. So... And it wasn't until Visions where we started getting the enters the battlefield effects, right? On creatures.
Right. They started. Yeah, that was in Visions.
Okay.
That was the big innovation there.
Okay, so never mind then. Ouch. So, let's dive in then and see what we can see. What do you guys think about in white that could potentially be a mythic?
I had a quick question. There are 2 cycles of cards, and I don't know that either one will be mythic, and I just wanted to go ahead and get these out of the way. But there's a cycle of tutors and a cycle of dragons that are in each color.
There's
No.
actually.
There's what?
The tutors isn't a full cycle.
It's not? What's it
No.
missing from?
It was
Only-
just white and blue.
It's
Yeah, just white and blue here. Black and green appear in Visions, and then the red one was never printed.
Ah,
Yeah.
see, I was making notes and I somehow missed that. So then no.
Oh wait,
Okay.
wait, was the green one in this set?
No.
No.
I don't think it was.
What the hell is the green one called?
Worldly Tutor? Wasn't that Visions also? Or was that in Mirage?
No, it's not. Oh wait, it might not have ever been reprinted as rare like the others were.
Ah, that might be part of it.
And
Okay,
that's why
so
it's
let's
not
just
on
say-
our list here. So yeah, I think
let's. Okay, so obviously not the tutors. However, there is a cycle of dragons. Now, red actually gets more than one dragon because it's red.
yeah,
but-
Worldly Tutor was in this set, but since the tutors were all uncommon, the original 3, they're not. And it was Worldly Tutor was apparently never reprinted at rare. So we just did a gatherer search for Mirage and rare, so it gives us everything from Mirage that's ever been printed at rare ever, including
Right.
Enlightened Tutor and Mystical Tutor, both of which were originally uncommon but have later been reprinted at rare. But Worldly Tutor was not.
Huh. And I learned something.
Yeah, it was in 6th edition, still uncommon. Huh. So okay, sorry, still not a complete cycle, but yeah, it was all 3 of those.
Okay. Well, we do have a semi-cycle of dragons because red has 2 dragons, but every other color, including green, gets at least 1. But I thought I would go ahead and get these out of the way. I'm not saying that none of these can mythic, but none can mythic. But I don't know that this is a mythic cycle of cards.
No, not at all.
I would tend to. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Now, the red one in the cycle is the Volcanic Dragon. They all cost 4 color.
Oh, that's true. So the other red one, the Crimson Kite, would be considered separate.
Yeah, that's just another dragon. But I think
Okay.
the Volcanic Dragon is falls into this cycle.
Gotcha.
The Crimson Hellkite was the one they would put in advertisements like, look at this awesome card. And I remember being a kid, I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it worked.
Okay, let's see.
All right.
What's the Volcanic? I just said that. So okay,
Crimson.
for the chat, here is the once I set up the thing. So here's the dragons. We've got the Pearl Dragon, which I think they're all 4/4s, right?
Yes. Yes, they are.
Okay, so
Sounds
Four
wrong.
fours for 6.
yeah, 4/4s for 4 color. They all have no, they don't. The Pearl Dragon has flying and this oh god, what's this called? Holy armor, butt breathing, as we've called it in the past.
The blue is Mist Dragon.
Yeah.
4/4 for 4 and 2 blue. You can pay 0. I want to see what this says in Gatherer.
It says
Yeah.
Mist
Pay
Dragon
0.
Bane's flying. This
One.
effect lasts indefinitely in parentheses.
Pay 0. It loses dragon. This effect lasts indefinitely. Or you can pay 3 and 2 blue. It phases out.
Definitely loses dragon. Yes. So yeah, that's weird.
Loses flying. Sorry, did I say loses dragon? That's
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
Wow. I am tired.
The Catacomb Dragon.
I always thought it was awesome and it has the best art.
The art is really sweet. The card itself is really weird. It's a 4/4 flyer that when it becomes blocked by a non-artifact, non-dragon creature, that creature gets -X/-O until end of turn, where X is half its power rounded down. Which is the modern rules text. It's just the creature loses half its power when it runs into the Catacomb Dragon, presumably because the other half of its power is redirected to crapping itself, because look at this thing.
Yeah.
I remember the Catacomb Dragon was... My friends who had it, it was so infuriating because it was so difficult to deal with in combat.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
You couldn't terror the damn thing because it was black.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kind of a neat little concept. So... The Volcanic Dragon has been reprinted at, I think, Uncommon.
Yes.
And rare.
Fairly recently.
And all over places. But yeah, in M19 it was uncommon.
So flying in haste.
Which
and then,
is still good.
Yeah. And then green got a dragon.
The Canopy Dragon is the only one of these that I had back in the day, and I might still, actually.
One of you guys had it because I've seen it in a rare binder somewhere.
Oh yeah, it was definitely in mine because it's so good. But it's a 4/4 trampler that for 1 and a green you can give it flying and it loses trample until end of turn, which is so cool for I mean, it doesn't have wings in the art, so it's a flightless dragon that can essentially gain flying by crawling through the canopy. But if it's crawling around in the canopy, then it doesn't trample. That's so cool.
Yeah, and it was a way to do a green dragon, because it's a dragon. It's got to have flying, but green flying. This isn't a bird of paradise. What's going on here?
So yeah, that's the dragon cycle. But yeah, they're not mythic.
They're not mythic
at all. But they're so good.
But I did think, returning to our normal color order, I saw a couple cards. I had 2 strong mythics in white and 2 maybes. So I don't know if you guys had the same experience, but just starting right up toward the top first one, I was like, yep, it's Celestial Dawn.
I agree with you.
Because it changes a very fundamental part of the game. Let's pull up some Oracle text here. For 1 and 2 white, it's an enchantment. Lands you control are plains. Non-land permanents you control are white. The same is true for spells you control and non-land cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. You may spend white mana as though it were mana of any color. You may spend other mana only as though it were colorless mana. So basically, everything in your deck is now mono white.
Yeah, the way that this was referred to in Inquest was whitewash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And it's weird and odd, but even though it only affects you, it's a potentially powerful effect, because assuming you were able to get this out, you could literally play anything else in the game as long as you had enough mana. Costs all 5 colors, doesn't matter. So I'm not saying it's powerful, but it has a powerful effect on the way you could play the game. Now, if you're a goober and you just put this in your mono white deck, I don't know what to tell you. But, whatever. But I feel like it's mythic.
I mean, at the time, I can't think of anything that affected everything of yours the way this does. Like, you had those weird cards that changed the way your lands worked, Reality Twist, and that freaking artifact that I hate.
Right.
I see it.
I can't think I can see the art, but I can't think of the name.
Naked Singularity.
That's the one. Yeah, Naked Singularity.
Yeah, the people are all like, "Wow!" So
Stark said, "Put Celestial Dawn in your mono white deck to assert dominance." Pinball Witch said, "It's about sending a message." You just drop it, and then you put one elbow on the table and lean forward and just look at your opponent and say, "Go." Yeah, like I said, other than those
Right.
those artifacts and the one enchantment, the artifact and enchantment, there we go, that changed like what your lands produced in really stupid ways. Like this just, I mean, literally whitewashed your entire deck.
Yeah, this is the only thing that affects cards in zones other than the battlefield that I think there was until Conspiracy was
Until
printed in
Conspiracy,
Mercadian
yeah.
Masks. I just can't think of anything else.
That's Conspiracy, the card, not the set for you
Mhm.
listeners that missed that part because I talked over him. My bad. So I mean, this seems pretty mythic to me. Just
All
and
right.
on sheer bizarre value. This feels like a card they would make mythic, right?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Dirk, you agree?
Mhm.
All right. The other one I thought was a shoe-in was down toward the bottom, Soul Echo,
I also agree.
which, if again, let's turn to the Oracle text because lots of words here.
And look
the
at the
Oracle-
spacing on there.
Yeah.
Look
So-
at this, listeners. Or viewers? What is going on with these indentations, man?
I guess they did that so it'd be. They didn't. Usually they put a line break between distinct abilities, but there wasn't enough room to do that here. So instead, they indented them to show where each paragraph started.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Or to separate these abilities. So for X and 2 white, it's an enchantment. It enters the battlefield with X echo counters on. So that's where the X comes in. You don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Soul Echo if there are no echo counters on it. Otherwise, target opponent may choose that for each 1 damage that would be dealt to you until your next upkeep, you remove an echo counter from Soul Echo instead. That's interesting because with other effects, it may just say, kind of like some of the Lich spells, you have to sacrifice a permanent instead of losing life or anything like that. This, they can actually choose to say, no, I want to go ahead and attack you and deal damage to you and get your life total to less than 0. Then next time we'll worry about the counters on this thing. Or they could choose to go ahead and remove them right away, whatever. But it's a weird spell, and it's one of these you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life spells, which they do not do very often. And usually have a major impact on the game because all of a sudden it's changing how you lose. Now, in essence, this still makes you lose through damage, but it kind of makes them go through this first. So it's kind of sort of giving you X life, but not really. So, Mike, you agreed. Why do you think this
Yeah.
is?
I think it's because it's one of those you don't lose the game for having less than 1 life cards. I think stuff like that is really special. And especially with the weird way it works. Because you could do... And especially with the way the rules of the game worked at the time. No, wait a minute. Never mind, that would have been irrelevant.
Well, there wasn't the echo. That was something where it accumulated. Isn't that if you just left it there, it accumulated tokens?
No,
Or did you
Soul
have
Echo
to add
does,
stuff to it?
Soul Echo doesn't have any way to refill itself after you play it the first time. You would have to send it back to your hand and then play it again, which is
Okay.
not that hard to do.
Because there wasn't. Was it? What's the one that you actually added tokens to it?
Are you thinking of cumulative upkeep?
Is that what I'm thinking of?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be confused because it says echo counters. This has nothing to do with the mechanic echo. That was used later. Or anything like that. That's just what they named it because they had to name it something. Like, there's no
Okay.
rules baggage that goes with echo counters. I think is where you're going with this.
Okay.
Yeah. But Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's really bizarre, and it has that you can have -5 life and still be alive. What?
Hmm.
And a lot of those make me lean towards Mythic for it, especially because this one has the Silver Surfer showing up and taking all your damage for you. So,
Yeah.
Like he does.
like he does.
Hey, Galactus is sick. Do you need a herald? What do I need to do for this position? Just stand here? Yeah, okay, I got that. All right.
Galactus took me out again.
So we got to. I had a question mark next to Null Chamber because I thought it was kind of a unique effect. We've seen it done a couple times since this card was printed, but I'm pretty sure this was the first example of, hey, name a card. That card can't be played. This is what the Meddling Mage effect. That Meddling Mage was an invitational card too. So
yeah.
But I think I don't have the Oracle text up, but for 3 and a white, enchant. Oh, it's an enchant world. Oh, so you can't just keep playing more Null Chambers. That's interesting. But World Enchantment. As it enters the battlefield, you and an opponent each choose a card name other than a basic land card name. Spells with the chosen names can't be cast, and lands with the chosen names can't be played. So, shuts down. It doesn't even counter them. You just can't play those cards. So I had a question mark next to that.
Yeah, nowadays this isn't Mythic.
Yeah.
And I
nowadays,
I think it's balanced because your opponent also gets to shut down something of yours. So by today's standards, nah. But at the time, like you said, I don't know if there was anything like this back then.
No.
I don't
at the
think
time,
there was.
Yeah, because it was the first example. And also they felt it was special enough to put on a world enchantment. Because, that could get you could get into a really weird game if you had multiples. You started to get like 3 of these on the battlefield. It's like, They might have done it at the time.
It's
I'm not feeling it now, but it could have been possible.
Oh yeah, like I said, by today's standards, there's no way because they just do this sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like this is just a normal tool that they have in their in their tool chest. But the Null Chamber was the first time, as far as we can remember, and I think this is the first time because I seem to remember reading the reactions to it in Inquest. They're like, look, they can't play it. Don't you understand? Isn't that crazy? It makes them not be able to play a card. So does Armageddon. No, that makes them not play any cards. That's different. Shut up.
So it's less the fact that I thought it might be myth. It's, how do I put it this way? The reason I had a question mark next to this was not because I didn't think it could be mythic. It was more because I could already tell that I was getting a lot more in white than I might in other colors. So I was kind of like a... And the last one I had with a question mark was the Ethereal Champion.
I did not write that down. I've been with you on these other 3.
I think it's probably a good rare, but I put a question mark next to it for 2 and 3 white. It's an avatar. It's a 3/4. And you can pay 1 life to prevent the next 1 damage to be dealt to Ethereal Champion this turn. So it does not require any mana to activate that ability. So I thought perhaps at the time, given the creatures weren't outstanding, just see Auspicious Ancestor, for an example. I thought maybe this would feel a little over the top, but I didn't think it was... I wasn't sure if it was necessarily mythic, and that's why I had a question.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. I mean, it's a callback to Personal Incarnation. But with Personal Incarnation, for 1 more mana, you get a 6/6. Granted, you also have the drawback that if it dies, you lose half your life, but still. And I don't think Ethereal Champion rises to Mythic here.
Yeah, I'm with Mike.
Okay. Fair enough.
And
Any
poor
others in-
auspicious ancestor. Whew.
Any others in potentials in white?
You got the 3 I had in white. How about you guys?
I just picked Celestial Dawn and Soul Echo.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
had
oh, go ahead.
at one point I had sort of written down Rashida Scalebane, but then I went back and reread and I was like, oh, it only blocks dragons. I was like, never mind.
Well, it only kills dragons. Yeah.
Right. If it had not said dragon, it said destroy attacking creature, it can't be regenerated, you gain life equal to its power, that would have been Mythic.
That would have been dumb. You'd have to attack Dirk with at least 3 things to deal any damage. And the biggest one of them is getting blown up. He's gaining life equal to its power.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's at the... And I have no idea. I mean, if there's even... since there is a cycle of dragons, then maybe this would have had a little bit more of effect, but even in that, that's not going to be a significant effect, so...
Yeah.
After I read that, I was like, oh, never mind. That's definitely not Mythic.
Pretty badass creature, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely locks up a rare spot.
Oh, yeah.
So, then let's move on to blue. So then, let's move on to black.
Oh, come on.
Wait, I had a couple things jotted down for blue.
You did? I read through everything, and I was like, as much as I love polymorph for personal reasons, I didn't know if it got there. So since I led a lot of the discussion for white, somebody else take over for blue, and I'll let you know how wrong you are. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, what you have?
Let's see. Well, now I have second thoughts about it after I think about it some more.
Go
One
ahead.
of the,
Put it out there.
but one of the first ones I identified was Bazaar of Wonders.
Yup.
It's
That
another world
one-
enchantment.
That is probably one of the strongest contenders, in my opinion.
It's another world enchantment. It costs 3 blue. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from all graveyards. Whenever a player casts a spell, counter it if a card with the same name is in a graveyard, or a non-token permanent with the same name is on the battlefield. So it fights against itself a little bit with the way it resets the graveyards. But it doesn't reset the battlefield. So that's still going on. And it puts a really interesting... It kind of like a Null Chamber. But I feel a little bit better about Bazaar of Wonders as a Mythic contender now than I did about Null Chamber now. And I think they might have also tried it back then.
Yeah, because this is more insane than, okay, I'll pick one card and you pick one card. This is every card everybody's already put in the graveyard. No.
Yeah, or has put onto the battlefield. No.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So, what that means is, in EDH, this card does not much unless 2 people are playing the same colors and have the same staples.
Both of them brought the exact same net deck to the tournament.
Yeah, a net deck, commander deck, and in Commander, yeah.
Or no one else has played their Soul Ring yet, and you run this out, and you're like, ha!
I mean, there are certain cards that in Commander are just kind of meh.
Staples.
What's the opposite of staples? Non-bows.
Paper clips. I'm sorry, they still hold stuff together.
Staple remover?
There you go.
Don't.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm sorry.
But like I always think there was a green-black enchantment from original Ravnica that when a creature entered the battlefield, you returned all creatures with the same name from your graveyard to either your hand or the battlefield.
I think it was your hand.
And obviously that doesn't.
No, it was the battlefield. Hand
was
would be
the
broken. Yeah.
And that doesn't do anything in EDH. So
Sort of like the cards that say, "Go and search for a copy of this card of the same name."
yeah,
Mhm.
I always thought that Mishra from Time Spiral would be an interesting commander, but you've really got to play around the fact that just on his own, his ability just doesn't work. So
Yeah, I think I've seen decks with Mishra as the commander, and you have to use that weird red enchantment that like replaces every time you cast a spell, it gets replaced with some random card off the top of your deck that shares a type with it.
yeah,
Then you can go in your deck and get the spell you actually cast in the first place. It's complicated.
yeah, it's not something that naturally just
yeah.
But anyway, so this is Bazaar of Wonders, not other things. So I think it's of the blue. I think it's one of the better choices.
Yeah, it was the first thing I wrote down as a possibility for blue.
Okay, what's another possibility in blue? Not mind.
Not what?
No.
Mind bend.
Yeah, it's just not. All right, Mike, what you got?
Let's see. I started to wonder about Energy Vortex. I think just because I saw all the words on it, and then I read it, and I'm like, no, never mind.
Yeah.
Then
I think that it was a trap, but when you read it, it's a very like psychic venom type card.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty well balanced against itself. So the only other thing really that I would point out is Taniwa.
Wow. I really expected Mike to go off on Hakeem Loreweaver. I'm sitting here mousing over it, waiting on you to say it. I mean,
I was wondering about Flash personally.
I really like Hakeem, but now I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, I don't think Hakeem would be mythic, but I knew you liked him.
I do.
So talk about Taniwa.
So Taniwa is for 3 blue. It's a legendary serpent.
Yes.
Legendary serpent, and it has a trample and phasing. And at the beginning of your upkeep, all lands you control phase out. So basically, you go back and forth between having a 7/7 with trample and having lands.
Perfectly normal.
Yeah. But a 7/7 with trample for 5 mana is pretty flashy. Even though with the natural drawback of phasing, you're not going to get to attack with it for... You're going to have to wait yet another turn to start attacking with it. But still, it's a big, flashy 7/7 trample for 5.
Yeah, and the fact that it's so big and undercosted and was famous at the time, because, oh my god, look at this card, made me jump to it for Mythic. But then I read it again and thought about it, and I went, I don't know. But it is definitely big and flashy. Because all your lands phase out. What? So, hey, Mike.
Yes.
What if you got 2 Taniwas going back and forth? Would you ever have lands again?
Not as long as you have the Taniwas going back and forth.
Because I can't remember how phasing works, so I don't know if...
Okay, so how phasing works. So the very first thing you do at the beginning of your turn, like at the beginning of your untap phase, it's not just untapping lands. You also, everything with phasing simultaneously, everything with phasing phases out, and everything that's currently phased out phases in. That happens at the very, very start of your turn. So that means if Taniwa is phased out, when it phases back in, during your untap step, at the beginning of your upkeep, your lands phase out. So you don't have access to your lands for the rest of your turn, the rest of your opponent's turn, until it comes back around to you. Because when it comes back around to you, Tiny Wall will phase out and all the lands will phase back in again.
So that, yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
Note to self. Maybe don't do that. Unless, hey, having a 7/7 to attack every turn is better than ever having, mana.
Yeah, sometimes a 7/7 trample is just that good.
Sometimes. There are instances where it's not, but like if they have a 1/1 with Death Touch, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Hey, you're still dealing 6 trample damage. Psst.
And now I get my lands back. Yeah.
Hey! Okay, then.
Now I feel bad for not thinking to mention Hakeem. I do like Hakeem. Maybe because I'm just more familiar with how the card plays in a practical sense is why I didn't say anything.
Yeah, exactly, because he's not the best.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really interesting rare card, but I don't find him to be mythic personally.
No.
Yeah. Let's get some Oracle text for this guy too. So 3 blue. It's a 2/4 legendary human wizard with flying. Has 2 abilities. First ability, blue, return target aura card from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to Hakeem Loreweaver. Activate this ability only during your upkeep and only if Hakeem isn't enchanted. And the second ability is blue, tap, destroy all auras attached to Hakeem. So Hakeem can pull auras out of your graveyard, stick them on himself, and then if you want to do something different, you can use the second ability to reset them.
Which is neat.
Yeah, that first ability is just you can only activate it if Hakeem isn't enchanted yet, which means you can do it in response to itself a couple times if you want to attach more than one thing to him in one go.
Oh, yeah, it says during your upkeep, but not when you can play a sorcery. Ah, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
also, and it doesn't
rapid fire.
And it doesn't have something like, and it's not written in a way that you'll only attach the aura if he isn't already enchanted.
Yeah.
It's just you can only activate it if he isn't enchanted right now.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but yeah, not mythic. And Brian,
Yes, sir.
looked at Flash.
I did, just briefly. More just because I really wasn't finding a whole lot else. But it essentially lets you cast a creature with as though that creature had flash. If we're really getting down to it. What the text actually says is for 1 in a blue, it's an instant. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do, sacrifice it unless you pay its mana cost reduced by up to 2 generic mana. Which is the same mana you use to cast Flash. So it bends a little bit of the rules, but it's only... I think it's fine. You're trading 1 card for an opportunity to change the timing restriction on another card. And that second card has to be a creature card. It's not like it allows you to play a sorcery, like an instant speed like Quicken or something. So honestly, I don't think it's mythic. But I didn't know if there was more to it for the discussion. Obviously, it's gained some notoriety thanks to Protean Hulk. But just because another card works really well with it does not make that card a mythic. So
yeah, like this card toiled in absolute obscurity until Protean Hulk was printed, and then they figured it out. And now that Protean Hulk is not legal in most of or is it Flash?
One of the two.
Say that one more time.
It's banned. Okay, it's Flash that's banned in Legacy, not the Hulk. Got it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You can't ban the Hulk. I mean,
That is true, yeah.
I mean, Flash is the problem card between the two of them.
Exactly, yeah. But
if it wasn't the Hulk,
it's
just
literally
find something else.
only a problem card with that creature.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Not Mythic. It is neat, but nah, not Mythic. Even
Nope.
if you take power level with Protean Hulk into account, nah.
Nope. All right. Anything else for blue?
I got nothing. You
All right.
guys? Okay.
So black. Dirk, before we get started, what is a thought card in black that you thought might be mythic? Dark, are you muted?
He might be. Maybe he dozed
Drake,
off.
are you asleep?
Did he step away? He didn't put
Who?
BRB.
There you are.
Hey,
So, hey, Dirk, do you have anything in black?
Black?
yes.
Didn't have anything black.
You didn't have anything in black.
I got through blue, and then I stepped away, so I wasn't able to
Okay.
get to the rest of them.
All right. Might I suggest Spirit of the Night?
Hey.
That was special because that was the first one that actually had cards that Voltroned into that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Spirit of the Night for 6 and 3 black. It's a summon legend, but it's actually a legendary creature, Demon Spirit. And it's a 6/5 with flying, trample, haste, and protection from black, which may feel weird, but at the time it protected it from so much removal. As if it wasn't already immune to terror, but still can't block that it with black creatures. And then Spirit of the Night has first strike as long as it's attacking. So they really want you to push aggro. So it costs 9, but there were the 3 cards that if you were able to assemble the combo, you could play it for essentially the cost of those cards. But it's kind of big. It's iconic, I think, to the story. What I understand of the story, I don't know a whole lot about the story from Mirage, but I think this played a part. And it's like the first Acroma in the game. It's like, what all keywords can we fit on this card? Flying, yeah. Trample, yeah. Because we've had Lord of the Pit. What else we got? Haste seems pretty good.
Haste, that's not even a word we use. Well, maybe we should look into it.
Protection from black, yeah. First strike, that might be a bit much. When it's attacking, sure, let's go with that. So I think this card is unique enough that it could be mythic. And it's definitely a card they could use to try to sell the set. You think this thing is big and amazing and it costs too much, but maybe you'll live the dream and get it out early. Yeah.
I was never able to do that back then because I only ever had the Panther. I think it was the Airborg Panther, right?
Uh-huh.
That's the only one I had. And isn't that the one that tells you can do it?
Yeah, that's the one with the ability written on it.
Man, I was so pissed. It's like, man, all I have to do is find these other 2 creatures. And there weren't card shops that I went to like that. Like Scott and I got our magic from Ray's Comics down the street. But he didn't sell singles or anything. He just had packs. But yeah. Spirit of the Night is... And everyone loves Acroma. And this was one of the first Acroma creatures with just a word salad of abilities on it. Just making it rain with abilities. And then factor in the fact that it's summonable by this other ability using 3 creatures. And it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Now, I fully admit that I could totally be biased because I love this card fully and totally.
And I had a feeling you were going to say that, so I thought I would go ahead and be the first one to say it so that you are, hey, look, here's someone that doesn't have that bias, because I've never owned a Spirit of the Night. I have never, to my knowledge, active treasoned or threatened a Spirit of the Night. So if I've ever played with the Spirit of the Night, it's because I borrowed Mike's Volrath deck. Does that have Spirit of the Night in it?
I don't remember.
And I don't think I would have played it.
I don't think it does.
My mono black commander deck did, but I can't remember who that was because I think I took it apart.
Wasn't Spirit of the Night the commander?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
So Spirit of the Night. What's another black card that could be mythic? Somebody else.
I had Forbidden Crypt written down, but I can't remember why now. So let's go read Forbidden Crypt again.
That
I
was
agree
another.
with Forbidden Crypt.
Yeah, I agree too.
Oh, good. Forbidden Crypt, 3 black for an enchantment. Oh, right, this card. If you would draw a card, return a card from your graveyard to your hand instead. If you can't, you lose the game. Next line. If a card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile that card instead. So your graveyard is now your library, and you can't add anything else to your graveyard. It's almost like a weird Lich card.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a weird Lich combined with a Yawgmoth's Will.
No wonder I added it to the list.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw this card before tonight, so...
I agree with you. I think it's mythic in that it completely flips the way that you play the game. It changes a fundamental resource of the game, which is your library. So, yeah.
It seems like we're really fond of putting Lich cards in the Mythic slot just
But
because
every-
they're...
But every time I mention a Lich card, you guys are like, nope. Because a lot of them are dumb.
Like ones that actually have something Lich in the name. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But interestingly enough, some of the like pseudo Lich cards do that kind of thing, but better.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the actual Lich cards seem to be pretty well balanced and crappy. Huh. Okay then, well that was easy. Chat asked if Mirage of Urborg got...
Looked at her.
No.
I don't.
Mirage is cool.
It's
Yeah.
cool. I don't know this mythic. The other one I had on my list was Shaku Endbringer, though.
Yeah, Shaku
That
I
one-
think falls in that list too. It's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it can.
Shaku is really well balanced against itself.
I mean, you can tap her to exile a creature.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. She also like kills you, but
Yeah, if you don't have a mechanism to replace the life you lost, though.
you probably just try to win first.
Let me look
Or
at
if
something.
you Oh wait, she can exile herself.
Yes.
Wow, I was gonna say if you manage to like
Woo!
but actually wait, no.
I didn't notice that before.
I didn't either. Cause my brain just inserted the another, but the word there are a lot of things this card says. There are
I
even
guess
more
that's a
that this
good
card
crap
doesn't
button.
say.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
Okay.
I don't know.
Here's a funny one for you guys.
Oh god.
The vampire and the echo chamber.
The echo chamber?
What?
Yeah. Or soul echo.
Oh, Solik.
Because she says loss of life and soul echo is damage. So she clears everything off the battlefield so you can't take damage from anything. And then it's like, okay, I'll keep taking loss of life. I'm below zero.
Oh, so
but as
what-
long as you take no
For
damage,
each one damage, wow. She'll never trigger even if they
you
choose
she
can't
won't-
lose the game.
She won't take counters off the Echo. You're right.
That's pretty damn funny.
Wow.
All right. New Orzhov deck coming up.
Typhoon Silver Surfer, the
Dirk
fan
ruins
fiction that
everything.
you never knew you were asking for. Wow, thank you, Dirk.
That's funny.
I think.
I think. Hey, Dirk is taking this ruining everything thing seriously this week. But yeah, going back to Pirage of Urborg, so what Pirage does, because I didn't know, 3 black for a 2/3 cat warrior who's legendary. Has first strike as long as it's attacking, so that's cool. And whenever a player casts a black spell, you can pay a black to put a +1/+1 counter on Pirage. So while that's powerful, I don't think Mythic is right. I think it's just a very solid rare.
Mhm.
What was the rarity on the is it the Celestial Ancient? What's the green ancient that anytime a spell is cast, you put a counter on it?
Forgotten Ancient.
Forgotten
rare.
Ancient. What's its
Forgotten
rarity?
Ancient was rare.
That's a rare.
It's just a rare.
Yeah.
This feels like the Forgotten Ancient.
Yeah,
in
like a
terms of
slower,
that.
crappier Forgotten Ancient. That's true.
So it's, I mean, and that's what we're saying is that it's a cool ability, and it's definitely aggro. But I don't think it's Mythic. But will it get out of hand really fast if you don't do something about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right then. So anything else in black?
That's all I had.
Yeah, like. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I see Infernal Contract and I'm like, oh, Infernal Contract. I'm like, no, don't say Infernal Contract.
No.
Yeah, that's
Don't do
another
it,
one
Mike.
that was pushed by the Inquest and whatnot at the time,
Mm-hmm.
because it says pay 3 mana, draw 4 cards, which is completely nuts. Like that's ridiculous. But it also says pay half your life rounded up. So
Yeah. It was important for Prosperous Bloom decks, if I remember correctly.
sorry, reflex. But okay, yeah. All right, so what else? I guess red.
Red. So green.
Yeah, right.
I put Final Fortune.
I thought Final Fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Final
given
Fortune.
it was the first time that it ever happened,
Yeah.
I can see that on sheer what factor, but
I mean, nowadays, don't think so. But at the time, I think it's. Well, also look at the competition. Here. So, Final Fortune for 2 red, instant. Take another turn after this one. You lose the game at the end of that turn.
Yep.
So, hey, look. A time warp in red, but then you lose.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But poor red.
I don't like illicit auction.
Red rares, everybody.
I don't like Torrent of Lava. I looked for a while at Crimson Hellkite just in terms of like big crazy thing. But
What about Zerlin of the Claw? I think there's something real there.
all right, well let's talk about it. What's it do?
Zerlin of the Claw for 3 red. Man, why don't I pull the Oracle text up first? Okay. It's a legendary Vioshino Shaman. And it's a 3/4. So 3/4 for 5. The ability is 1 red tap. Search your library for a dragon permanent card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. That dragon gains haste until end of turn. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. So you get to just pull dragons out of your deck and attack with them for 3 mana. 3 mana apiece.
But then you have to remove it from the game entirely, Mike. That means you have to go back in time and erase it from the design file so it never got printed.
And unfortunately, Sarkon Vol did not get a chance to go back and save Ugin's life and return those dragons back to existence.
Y'all notice Dirk is on fire tonight?
A little bit.
Okay, so yeah, Zerlin, and by the way, for those that don't know, it's this little bitty figure right here in front of the dragon. That's Zerlin of the Claw. It's not the whole dragon. This little thing right there. Isn't that annoying? That annoys the hell out of me. Let's zoom in. Oh, wait. Let's zoom in on here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, right there. What was that? Pinball Witch threw some bits, but I can't read it. She threw 10 bits for Dirk bringing his A game.
I'll try harder from now on then.
Wow, apparently I've been on 110% zoom for like ever. Because I just took it back to 100%, and that's not what you guys were looking at on my screen at all. Actually, I think it was on 125. Huh. Wait a minute. Is that on all of my... Oh no, just Gatherer. It actually remembers the zoom on individual...
That's
oh my
neat.
god, it does remember the zoom on individual pages. Because I just went to Twitch, like my dashboard, and zoomed out, and it zoomed out from 100 to 90. But on, like, the actual Gatherer page, where I've got the search, I zoomed out, and it zoomed out from 125 to 110. Wow. Chrome is neat. Anyway, sorry. I just learned... You know, I learned something today. Oh yeah, and since Brian brought it up, the Crimson Hellkite is a big ass.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe not a big ass. It's a 6/6 for 6 and 3 red with flying, and it has X and tap. Crimson Hellkite deals X damage to target creature, but then it has that little spend only red mana on X, and aww.
Well, you used to see that, like with was it Drain Life?
Drain life, yeah. But it's
I guess
possible that as a big stupid dragon with repeatable removal, they might have made Crimson Hellkite mythic too.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, they use Crimson Hellkite for ads and to get people hyped. Like, check out this dragon. So,
Oh
maybe.
god, I think I remember those ads, and it had the dude with the face.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So it could be that Crimson Hellkite would have gotten the crazy, like, big dragon mythic, or it could be that Zerlin of the Claw would have gotten it for, like, utility using big dragon mythics. Or it could be the Final Fortune would have, because it's so freaking weird at the time.
Yeah.
So these are all possible, yeah. I just didn't even look at Final Fortune when we were doing this because it's been reprinted at Rare a couple times.
Yes, it has.
But still, it hasn't been reprinted now that I'm looking at it since before Mythic. Since before Mythics were a thing. Wow, really?
What was the one from Amonkhet Block that was basically Final Fortune, except it just works slightly differently? Do you remember what that was called? Does chat remember what that was called?
I don't remember.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do, yeah. Because that's why I was surprised. Glorious End, is that it?
Glorious End? Let's check. Glorious.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah. That's Mythic.
Holy crap, it is. Well, it's an instant. Wait, Final Fortune's an instant.
Yeah.
Holy, this is just Final Fortune, but for 2 red, isn't it? No, this says end the turn.
Yeah, it's a little different. So you can also use it as like a counter spell for whatever, as you can also use it as a counter spell or like to stop your opponent's combat and then rush in with your next turn and then try to win.
Oh, wait. And then Justin said Chance for Glory. That might be the one I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah. And that's also what Pinball Witch is referring to. The next comment.
Chance for Glory. Yeah. Creatures you control gain indestructible. Take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. And it's also Mythic.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's a pretty good case for Final Fortune. Then I didn't realize Final Fortune hadn't been printed since 7th edition.
Neither did I.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it was printed in 6th and then in 7th. Wasn't 7th with bad art? Yeah, I have this one.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time.
All right, because 7th. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we're good in red then, right? Because just the rest of it's just not great.
The rest of us, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed we came up with as much as we did.
The hammer was important, but I don't think it's Mythic.
The hammer was important, but yeah, you're right. So yeah, let's look at the hammer real quick, just because. The Hammer of Bogardan, or Bogardan, or Dan's Boogers. For 1 red, it was a sorcery speed lightning bolt. So half the speed, 3 times the price. Get it. That's awesome. Print it. Wait, no, that sucks. But wait, there's more. For 2 and 3 red, activated only during your upkeep, you could put the hammer from graveyard to hand. And that was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this gave burn that extra, reach that it never had before. And it gave control decks that extra kill you that it never had before. Because, okay, by today's standards, you're like, okay, pay 8, deal 3 damage. Yeah, but at that point in the game, the hell else are you doing? You're playing draw go.
Yeah, it inspired it. I think versions of that burn control deck existed earlier, but Hammer of Bogardan made it actually good.
Yeah. So yeah, like Mike said, this is an important card, but it's not a Mythic card.
No.
But I think without Hammer of Bogardan, we would never have had Flashback.
Yeah, probably not.
And Flashback is kind of stupid, so. All right. Plus, I love the art on Subterranean Spirit. Look at him. He's so happy. Anyway.
I like that.
So green.
I forgot about the little scale people on top of the Subterranean Spirit. Little people getting shaken around.
Oh yeah, look at them. They're so tiny. Okay, so green.
So green, I
don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna throw one out and
Let's
discuss that one.
Yeah.
Natural balance.
Okay.
So, is this one sort of like a balance? What did balance come out as? Was it rare or mythic?
Well,
balance.
Balance is an alpha, so there were no mythics, but I'm pretty sure it have to be mythic, right?
We haven't done a mythic conscription for ABUR yet, have we?
No. I don't know if the plan ever was to do one, but maybe we should at some point.
Half the set would be mythic, the other half would be common.
Would be common, yeah. But natural balance essentially says everybody goes to 5 lands, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I say that because, again, the whole thing is that mythic was it reshapes the game a bit.
Yes, that's
And
true.
that's sort of what this feels like is, oh, you've got way more lands than I do. Well, let's fix that. And it essentially reshapes the game.
Land tax gets you lands if the opponents have more lands than you, but it doesn't take away their lands.
Yeah.
Limited resources does this kind of on a different scale, and limited resources is actually an enchantment, right? So it sticks around.
Yeah.
So
And the one thing wasn't green all, essentially it was the big creatures and everything. So if you did this to somebody, didn't this like really screw them? If you did this and they were playing a green deck? Or if you had a creature heavy deck, wouldn't this be something that really screwed those people?
I mean, I don't think.
Don't think it would have made that major of a difference.
I mean, it does punish someone who's ramped out a lot of mana early, and you go, "Oh, natural balance."
Mm-hmm.
Like, think right now in Hearthstone, we've got Mojo Master Zihi.
Right, that sets everyone back to 5.
Yeah, who says, "Okay, everybody go to 5," and that's exactly what natural balance does, just without the dude attached.
Yeah, but it can also bring you up from lower than 5.
True.
Wait, does Mojo Master Z do that? I don't know.
I think
if
it
that's
says
possible.
everybody doesn't. I don't know actually.
Probably. It probably does.
Mojo Master.
I wonder if it's even possible to play him at a point.
Yeah,
where
set
you
each
get
player
that
to
effect.
5 mana crystals.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Because natural balance also showed up in ridiculous combo decks that use squandered resources as part of the
Oh yeah.
mana engine. Because you'd sack all your lands to squandered resources, use some of the floating mana to play natural balance, get 5 basic lands out of your library and keep going.
Buh.
So that was one that because of that dynamic, I wasn't sure whether or not this one would be considered mythic.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
But it has been an excellent discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, it feels like balance in terms of the dynamic it brings to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm certain that had to have been the point behind designing it,
Oh,
to
yeah.
get to have that balance feel.
Without
not
it
be
being
as
like
busted.
bend you over the knee broken.
Yeah.
Yes, without it actually being balanced, yeah.
So another one that I looked at was Lure of Prey.
Yeah.
But-
I saw Lure of Prey as well. Yes.
Yeah, so for 2 green, it's an instant that says, cast the spell only if an opponent casts a creature spell this turn. You may put a green creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's powerful, but it's one of those things where it's balanced by it relies on your opponent doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sure, you could get a massively discounted big green thing, but
your opponent has to do something for you to provoke this to happen.
yeah,
Right.
and I don't
Yeah.
know. Like it doesn't.
Green has some good stuff, but at the same time, it's like right there on the border of, is it?
Yeah, like it's obviously a powerful card, but it's not mythic. Like
Yeah,
it's-
it doesn't. I don't think it meets what we think of as mythic.
yeah.
Like full on, it's there. It's like if it is, it's squeaking by.
Yeah. So poor green.
And that's really all I saw.
Like the only other one that I looked at all was Hall of Gemstones, just because, or Hall of Gemstone, singular. I did not
Yes.
notice that. But just because it's weird.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, one green
I
green
looked at
world
it.
enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses a color. Until end of turn, lands tapped for mana produce mana of the chosen color instead of any other color. So, like, if your opponent is playing something multicolored, you could really bone him.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just weird. But I don't think it's mythic weird. I think it's just weird.
I agree. This feels very red rare to me.
Wait a minute. I just realized this affected every player until the end of the current turn.
Oh, it completely shuts off counter spells.
Until end of turn, lands tapped for mana. Holy crap!
So you're like also shutting off. A lot of the time, you'll be shutting off any
yeah.
potential responses your opponent could be
Yeah.
making to you because you're choosing a color they can't do anything with.
I like green. Do you like green? No. Well, too bad. Can we have blue? No. Stop asking me that.
All right then.
Yeah, other than that, I got nothing.
So poor green.
Mindbender Spores is just weird.
I don't even know what this card does. What is?
Don't
what does
even
this card
worry
do?
about it.
Fun-
Mindbender Spores. For 2 and a green, it's a 0/1 defender with flying. It's a fungus wall. Whenever Mindbender Spores blocks a creature, put 4 fungus counters on that creature. Creature gains. This creature doesn't untap during your untap step if it has a fungus counter on it, and at the beginning of your upkeep, remove a fungus counter from this creature. Yeah. It's got words, but kind of like the blue spell we talked about just a minute ago, the Energy Vortex. More words does not necessarily mean mythic. So,
Buh.
yeah. So, anything else from green?
I mean, there's Morrow, but that's not green.
It is green, but
I
it's
mean,
not mythic.
It's really not, but it's definitely not mythic. I never did understand why Morrow was green.
I think it was. I don't know.
Yeah, me either.
I think they got the art first. It was just kind of sitting around.
Yeah, I know Rosewater has talked about it
Mm-hmm.
before because, you know, it's named after him, so he loves it, but eh. Yeah, Pinball Witch says it's a green ability. It's been done several times. Morrow was just the first, but why? I think it was only a green ability because Morrow was the first.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's a way to tie, like, various other aspects of the game to a creature, which is green's touch point.
Yeah,
So,
and
okay,
since green does
see that.
growth, it's pretty easy to grow your hand. You just draw cards.
Yeah. Okay. So how about this gold and colorless stuff?
Purgatory.
Bingo.
Yay!
You hush your face.
I like Purgatory. Purgatory's awesome.
You're a
Well,
monster.
what's it do?
For 2, white and a black, it's an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, exile that card. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 4 mana and 2 life. If you do, return a card exiled with Purgatory to the battlefield.
Isn't it weird how they took this whole card, or they took this one card and made an entire guild out of it years and years later? Purgatory. It's just the flavor of this
Yeah.
card is Orzhov.
Death does not stop your obligation. Yeah. But I feel like this could have been mythic at the time.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Sweet. So what else we got?
Pinball Witch pointed out that Reparations has mythic flavor text, which
It is mythic flavor text.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, the card
I saw
itself
the
is
card.
nowhere near mythic.
no, it's neat,
Yes.
But it's not mythic.
But sorry, let me start over. But the flavor text of "Sorry, I burned down your village. Here's some gold" is mythic beyond any other card in this set.
Yes. Beyond most cards in Magic, I would say.
Like, Magic players just know the reference, even if they've never seen the card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is weird to me.
I think this is one of those, like, I know Mark Rosewater was involved in names and flavor text for this set. And I think the story goes is that he and someone else were working on these, and it was getting really late at night, and they were just freaking tired. And they started to get a little, like, sleep-deprived, giggly. And they saw the art for this, and the art just looked kind of ridiculous to them. And one of them came up with this really silly
Little thing to say.
Mike, you're lighting up as if you're talking, but we can't hear you.
Did we lose Mike?
I don't know. I said he's still got the green ring around him as if he's talking, but...
Oh, the green ring of death.
Damn, that's eerie. Mike, we miss you. Oh, he just muted. Okay, I guess he'll be back.
Oh, no.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
there
are.
he is.
Yeah.
Aha!
I muted. It's my disconnect thing that hasn't happened in a long time.
Oh, okay.
It's my weird blink out thing. Yeah, the reason I muted was because I know when the mute symbol actually shows up, that means I'm connected again.
It's
But
just
anyway-
weird that the green ring around you didn't disappear when you disconnected.
Where was I in the anecdote? Do you remember?
They were tired. And
They got giggly.
Yeah, they were really tired, and they got giggly, and they saw the art for this, which just struck them as really funny. And one of them came up with just a ridiculous line to stick on there. And they probably had every intention of writing something better in the morning, but the flavor text ended up sticking.
And thank goodness.
mm-hmm.
Another one with silly text that I wonder if could have come out of that same session would be the flavor text for Grim Feast. Before doing this exercise, I don't think I had ever seen or heard of Grim Feast before. So it's in green and black. It's in the green and black section of the gold cards. Look at the art and follow along with what this card is doing. For one, a black and a green, it's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, Grim Feast deals 1 damage to you because you're eating dead people. However, whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, you gain life equal to its toughness. And then there's the flavor text.
That's awesome.
Midnight snack. It's not attributed to anybody, but he's eating a dead person. He's taking the hand out of the mausoleum, and the rest of it's just hanging out.
Sort of reminds me of the cannibalism perk you can get in Bethesda games.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can eat corpses to gain health. But if anyone sees you doing it, then like they call the authorities and you get run out of town.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but instead of, having guards chase you, it just pings you every turn.
I don't know if there are any other gold mythic cards, personally. But I saw that flavor text, and much like Reparations, I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
So, any other mythics in gold?
I wrote down Cadaverous Bloom, but that could just be because it's Cadaverous Bloom.
I had kind of a similar reaction.
And, like, we know about it because of the Prosperous Bloom. I can't say that. Clown Fiesta?
But this turns every card in your hand into a arguably weaker, although more flexible, Dark Ritual.
I don't know why you would say arguably weaker.
Yeah, because Dark Ritual costs 1, so you're getting
that's true.
so you're getting +2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it does turn every card in your hand into a potential +2 ritual.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Thank you. So, um, but Dark Ritual was fine. It was fine. It wasn't the problem. Everything else was the problem, right? So I don't know if they would have looked at this back then and said, "Oh, this can be busted." So I think this is kind of one of these cards where I feel like at the time it would have been printed at a lower rarity than it would be reprinted at now. Does that make sense? Where now, because of the history behind it, and we know what it did, I think it could make its way into like a master set or into a from the vault or something like that at a higher rate.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I think it would have been rare. Personally.
Yeah, because the thing is, this was still at a point in the game where the people designing it didn't have as strong an understanding of the relationship between certain resources that they do now.
That being amount of mana and cards in hand.
Right. Because the thing is like it's an enchantment, it costs 5, and you have to exile the card to get mana. It's just gone forever. But sometimes that's fine.
Yeah, like, so I tried to, when I first was looking at the set, I got to Cadaver's Blue and I went, oh, that's one. And I said, well, maybe it's not. It's just, I'm thinking of the Prost Bloom deck. And I thought about it. I'm like, I could get rid of 2 cards in my hand and suddenly have 9 mana. Because you already had 5, presumably, because you played Cadaver's Bloom.
Yeah. Mm.
And I went, holy crap, that's stupid. So I still jotted it down with a question mark. But again, back then, I don't know. But this isn't a card I remember. MC Stringer said Mythics sell sets, and this card would probably sell the set. I don't remember seeing much hype around this card at the time.
I wasn't playing at the time, so I'll rely on you guys.
Mike, do you?
I'd heard about it because I would read articles every once in a while about tournament decks.
Like, when did Prosperity come out, though? Prosperity wasn't
Visions.
until... Oh, Prosperity was the next set.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think Squandered Resources was in Visions, too.
Jesus.
I think one of the times Mike Long got caught cheating was with a Prosperous Bloom deck. He had a card sitting in his lap.
Wow.
Wow. That's...
Wasn't Mike Long also
But there
the
was
one
also-
who just started up the Cadaver's Bloom combo and didn't actually have the win condition and just hoped his opponent conceded, and then they did?
Yeah, he was able to bluff his opponent into conceding when he started it up, even though
I
he had
mean-
already had to play the drain life for something else to keep himself alive.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
there's...
he hadn't boarded in another copy. But his
That's...
opponent didn't know that.
That's really not against the rules. Nothing says you have to say, all right, getting
Mhm.
ready to combo off here, but I can't actually kill you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But having a card in your
I
lap...
bluffed Amaze's end win one time.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just weird that Mike Long has multiple Cadaverous Bloom stories attached to him. Anyway,
All right, shall we move to artifacts?
if we gotta.
Wrap this up.
Yeah.
There's a couple here.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I do have 2 written down.
Straight off the bat, Phyrexian Dreadnought.
I also had Phyrexian Dreadnought on the list.
Just robot hard to anyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard something too. But yeah, I had Phyrexian Dreadnought on the list as well as a 1-mana 12/12.
1 mana 12/12 with trample.
Granted, there's more to it than that.
Oh, I thought that was where it ended. 1 mana, 12 total trample. No, oh, I've still got Grim Feast up. Go away, go away. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you sacrifice any number of creatures with total power 12 or greater. So, yeah. You have to already trade in a bunch of things or big things, or some number of at least things.
Dang it,
But
Robot
it's
Brian.
awesome. What now?
I said, dang it, Robot Brian.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
This thing...
I think it's our call. Hang on, let me... The last time this happened was because of Steam. So, okay, I've closed Steam. Hopefully that will fix the issue. And if not, we'll hang up and pick up again, because that always fixes the issue amazingly.
So, Phyrexian Dreadnought just is mythic because of sheer awesomeness.
Yes.
I mean,
straight
yeah,
up.
almost certainly.
Okay.
Because it's not good as printed,
No.
but look at it. It's a 1 mana 12/12.
But I think a more interesting question is Lion's Eye Diamond at the time that it was printed.
No, Lion's Eye Diamond was a joke at the time it was printed.
Yeah.
That's
Lion's Eye
what I was
Diamond was
wondering.
actually stupid.
That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to make sure.
I'm pretty sure Inquest gave it like the worst card in the set.
Yeah. And even though they were bad at picking those out sometimes, at the time they were actually right. Because it could... The timing rules for when you had to produce mana in order to spend it on a spell were such that you really weren't able to use Lion's Eye Diamond to cast a spell out of your hand.
Yeah, so, hey, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Lion... Because reading Lion's Eye Diamond just completely out of the blue without knowing anything. So for 0 mana, discard your hand, sacrifice Lion's Eye Diamond. Add 3 mana of any one color, activate this ability only anytime you could cast an instant. That's a strange...
Yeah, they had to add that text to it to make it work as it was originally intended. So the reason it says activate this ability only anytime you can cast an instant is because there are windows where you're allowed to activate mana abilities when you normally wouldn't be able to do anything else, specifically during the process of casting a spell or during the process of activating an ability, but that's not important for Lion's Eye Diamond. So if Lion's Eye Diamond didn't have that extra text at the end, activate this ability only anytime you could cast an instant, then you would be able to announce a spell, move it out of your hand to the stack, make all the decisions, calculate the costs, activate mana abilities, pay the costs. And in that window where you activate mana abilities, if Lion's Eye Diamond didn't have that rider, you would be able to do it. You would be able to use the mana from Lion's Eye Diamond to cast a spell.
Let's see, and look at this this ruling here. The ability is a mana ability, so it is activated and resolves as a mana ability, but it can only be activated at times when you can cast an instant. Yes, this is a bit weird. That's what the ruling says.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, reading this card right now, it's stupid and pointless just like it was back then. But Mike, what do you use Lion's Eye Diamond for in the modern day?
Nowadays, use it to, let's see, you cast the Hellbent Tutor thing, whatever that's called. And then you respond by sacrificing Lion's Eye Diamond for mana. So now, when the Hellbent Tutor thing resolves, you actually go get whatever card you want out of your deck. Infernal Tutor? That sounds right.
Is that the right name? I can't remember.
Maybe.
Infernal Tutor. Yes, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And then you can use the mana you got from Lion's Eye Diamond to cast what you got with Infernal Tutor.
Still strikes me as so strange that the card is so expensive for use in that one particular deck. I guess just due to oldness and rarity.
Yeah.
And I guess
I mean,
also
it's just-
it really turns on that entire Hellbent thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3 mana out of... It's just free mana out of nowhere. If you have 2 Lion's Eye Diamond on the field and already, and you cast Infernal Tutor, that means you have just 6 mana from the diamonds besides whatever else you had available to you to go nuts with.
Yeah. So yeah. Like I said, just reading it, it's like, well, this card is pointless and stupid. What are you gonna add 3 mana to untap your oh crap.
Morphling?
No. That artifact that taps for mana that you pay more mana to untap it?
A Grim Monolith, Mana Vault, that sort of thing.
I can't. There's one in. Is it Grim Monolith? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
I think Grim Monolith is in one of the Urza sets.
Basalt Monolith. Thank you, Stark and Witch. There we go. Yeah. So it's really bad. Like, just look at it. It's bad and stupid and pointless and dumb. But then, years and years and years later, this insane use for it was discovered, and boom! Now it's a gazillion-dollar card.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
But at the time,
is
no.
pointless and stupid and pointless.
Okay.
All
I
right.
didn't mean to start a big discussion about one that wasn't.
It's a
there.
good one, though, because there are people who would go, well, Lion's Eye Diamond was in the set, oh my god. Well, it doesn't matter, it was dumb.
Any other artifacts that we thought were mythic or possibly mythic?
I looked at Grinning Totem real hard.
That was also one of the cards featured in marketing for the set.
Oh yeah. So for 4 mana, it's an artifact. Yay. For 2 and tap and sacrifice, and this is where it gets weird, you search target opponent's library for a card and exile it. Then that player shuffles their library. Okay. Until the beginning of your next upkeep, you may play that card. And then at the beginning of your next upkeep, if you haven't played it, put it into its owner's graveyard. So it was that, like, gestures equipment type of thing.
It was the follow-up to Jester's Cap, which was one of the face cards from Ice Age.
And it denied your opponent a card and gave it to you, which is ridiculous. What do you mean your opponent just doesn't get that card that they put in their deck, but you get it? What? And you didn't have to, like, wait for them to play it and steal it? What? But at the time, again, this was really big, but I don't know if it would have been mythic or not. I don't know. Maybe? Like, we'd already done the Jester's Cap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if we called that a mythic or not when we did Ice Age.
I really don't remember.
So, yeah. But it's a possibility. I don't know. And the fact that all of my co-hosts are just sitting here silently means they don't know either.
Means that we're either tired or contemplating or both. As you said, it was used in the marketing for the set. It's fairly unique, so I think it makes the cut. Another one that I had a question mark for was Mangara's Tome. But much like Chewy and Spirit of the Night, I am biased because this is one of the first cards I traded for. I think I traded for one from Mike, and I'm like, this is amazing. I can go get the 5 cards I want out of my deck and put them under here and get them. And inevitably, the one that I really wanted was number 4 or 5. Every time. Every time. But I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. So Mangara's Home costs 5. When it enters the battlefield, you search your library for 5 cards. I almost said up to. It's 5 cards. Exile them in a face-down pile and shuffle that pile. Then shuffle your library. Pay 2. The next time you draw a card this turn, instead put the top card of the exiled pile into its owner's hand. So it's turning, it's saying, hey, these are the 5 cards you really want, or at least 4 of them in 1 card, or 3 and 2. You get that. You're cutting to the chase. You're getting to those cards faster. Obviously, with the Oracle text are already exiled, the original card text said, hey, if you lose the tome, remove those cards from the game, but we know now they're already removed. So, I thought
we might
maybe
have mentioned this card specifically in our Professor Beard Teaches Exile.
Yeah, we did. It was one of the cards that store other cards underneath it.
Yeah.
Any thoughts as far as Mythic?
Like,
Possibly.
I could see an argument both ways, honestly. But it's not one that would have jumped out at me specifically. But I can totally get it.
I wonder if it's definitely more of a Johnny card than an in-your-face, like, crazy, dragon on fire, rah, sort of thing. So, it's one of those things where it's Mythic if the set needs more Mythics. And I kind of feel like we've had more in this set and in this review than we've had for some of the other ones in the past, where we're just like, are there any here at all? And
well, yeah, if this was in Fallen Empires, then boom, Mythic, straight up.
Straight up.
Check, move on to the next one. But since we have a lot of stuff to chew on in this particular set, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird how that changes. Like, because I'm being serious, yeah, if this was in Fallen Empires, I think we'd go, oh yeah, it's totally Mythic, because there isn't another one.
Right. Context matters.
Neat.
All right. Does this do it for Mirage?
Maybe?
Why did I think Tika's Dragon was legendary?
Because it probably should be.
I don't know. I mean, it felt like a legendary creature to little middle school Mike.
Did she make more than one?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe so. Tika might very well have.
There you go. Bringing you the truth.
So what is up with Tika's Dragon, Mike?
Well, Tika's Dragon costs 9 for an artifact creature, a dragon. So for 9 mana, you get a 5/5 with flying, trample, and rampage 4. So let's explain rampage. So rampage always comes with a number. So rampage 4 means whenever this creature becomes blocked, it gets +4/+4 until end of turn for each creature blocking it beyond the first. So if it gets blocked by 1 creature, nothing happens. 2 creatures, +4/+4. 3 creatures, +8/+8. 4 creatures, +12/+12. And your opponent probably didn't think this through.
Yeah. Plus, Tika's Dragon counts as a dragon.
Yes, counts as a dragon, right? Because they wouldn't put creature types on the type line for artifact creatures. That just wasn't something they did.
Right. So, yeah. Probably not Mythic, but definitely awesome. Because Rampage 4 is a big number.
Mm-hmm.
And it had Trample, which is always a problem with Rampage involved. And as
Yes.
Pinball Witch said, you put Lure on it. Yup.
Granted, since it has flying, there are fewer things that are going to be able to block it, but still.
The things that do are going to make it really, really mad.
And then there was, just as the only rare land, we had Teferi's Isle, which tapped to play Counterspell, but it had phasing.
Mm-hmm.
And it entered the battlefield tapped.
Yeah, I'm good with it being rare.
Yeah.
I think it's iconic, and there was no Teferi card at the time, so this really played into a key figure in the set, and as it turned out later in all of Magic's history, but it's a rare. It just is, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Pinball Witch made a good point in the chat that since it's part of that mega cycle of lands that's spread out over multiple blocks, maybe it would have been mythic as part of that super special cycle. The problem is that it's just really dumpy. The abilities itself.
Yeah.
So you have Core Haven, Teferi's Isle, Volrath Stronghold, Keldon Necropolis, and Yavimaya Hollow.
Some of those are better than others.
Yes. Core Haven and Volrath Stronghold. Yes. The Necropolis and the Hollow, solidly rare. Teferi's Isle, you could get away with making that uncommon, I think, just because it's so clunky.
Possibly.
This is another thing where the designers, I'm sure they felt like phasing was cool and fun, but it just didn't, for whatever reason, just the fullness of the clunkiness of phasing didn't click. Yeah, a clunk just like that didn't.
That was an accident, but the timing was excellent.
Yeah. It just didn't translate into good gameplay.
Yeah. And it was mentioned that we've had bad mythics because they had to finish a cycle. But did they even know that this was going to be a giant mega cycle at the time, or is this just the thing that they later decided to do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember whether I've heard that story or not.
So, oh well. But it's getting late, so let's wrap this up, because Teferi's Isle, not so much. So, how about, are we good? We good on Mirage?
Yeah.
Like,
I
there's
feel
a
like
lot more stuff here that feels good and potentially mythic, unlike basically all of the sets before it, chronologically
Yeah.
speaking, where
Yeah.
for a bunch of those we've been going,
This one certainly felt like there was a lot more to choose from instead of being forced into, well, there's only 10 rare white cards and these are all terrible. So which one's the least
which one's
terrible?
the least terrible? Yeah.
If you look at this blue card right, it kind of looks white. Is that good? Is that good enough? So, but yeah, I feel like we're good on this.
All right. Well, as always, let us know in comments or in the Discord server or on Twitter or just wherever what you guys think. What did we miss? Is there something that's just obviously mythic that we're just dumb? So let us know. And with that, how about some final thoughts? Dirk, you awake?
Yeah.
All right. Well, stop being awake. Well, do
Well,
final thought
well.
and then stop being awake.
Yeah. I think my big thing is that I got the chance to play. I bought Kingdom Hearts 3,
Ooh.
and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's very beautiful in terms of just the standard like graphics and everything for it.
It is freaking
is-
amazing.
Yeah.
Wise. I've caught myself so many times just being like pretty.
Yeah, the base graphics are the movie quality graphics from the previous games, like the cinematic graphics. The only thing that I'm about halfway through the game and everything.
Wow.
Is that as of this point, it feels like like Kingdom Hearts 2 had way more worlds than this game does,
You
from
think
what I
so?
can tell.
Okay.
But at the same time, the worlds are way more immersive.
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. I know you want to keep moving so you can go to bed. I'm just gonna piggyback onto yours because I'm also playing Kingdom Hearts 3. We got it. We pre-ordered it, got it on the day it came out. Did not even pop it into the machine until Saturday because our week was so insane, and literally played it for about a half an hour and then found out we needed to go. So we did not make it to a save point on Saturday. So we started over on Sunday. So we have gotten through. You know how Kingdom Hearts 2 had the section with Roxas that was like the prologue?
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got through Olympus. And I'm not. The game is only like 2 weeks old. I'm not trying to spoil it for anybody. But if you've played a Kingdom Hearts game, you're probably aware that you're going to Olympus. And that kind of Olympus serves as this game's. That kind of Roxas intro. The reason I know this is we finally got through it, and then the logo came up on the screen, and I'm for most of Olympus, it's like, here's how you do this, here's how you do that, here's how you learn all these abilities. So I'm telling Dirk that, man, I'm tired. I'm telling Dirk this only to say, don't say a whole lot because I'm
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
trying to
nearly
be
as far as you
ambiguous
are,
with it.
and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you're much further than I am. But I will tell you, even just Olympus and Thebes felt huge because there are some worlds in Kingdom Hearts where you're like, oh, it's a big world, but you look around and it's really actually kind of boxed in and small when you think about it. So I appreciated that. I appreciate how expansive it felt. But I literally got to the gummy ship, and Sam's like, great. And I'm like, okay, we're going to the world menu and we're saving because we got to go. Unfortunately, real life has really stood in. And this weekend, we're going to have no time to play. So maybe the weekend after that, if we're not doing too much moving with Dirk's family, we can actually sit down and play the effing game.
Mhm.
Like a lot.
It's really good.
I'm glad you're
There's
enjoying it.
obviously some differences between it and the other two, and I think at some point you'll see one of the big differences. I'm not going to be specific.
Please don't.
Yeah, I was going to say there will be a point where it's like, okay, we're at this part. What were you talking about in that? And I'll clarify what I'm talking about.
I appreciate that.
But like I said, so far it's been really good. And in terms of the worlds, I'm about halfway through the game with regards to the worlds. But I don't know. I feel like level wise, I'm not very high. I'm like 30, like level 30, and I'm about halfway through the worlds that are listed.
Nice.
That's probably about
And that's
right.
the part where I'm like, am I doing this wrong? Is it like Kingdom Hearts 2 where you get to go back and redo the worlds? I don't know. What's going on?
I just
Sort of
feel
how
like
I'm feeling.
I have tried so hard to avoid any and all spoilers, and I have felt, even just playing the little bit I have, I'm like, I'm playing a Kingdom Hearts game, like an actual Kingdom Hearts game that has not been spoiled to me blind for the first time in years because I played through the series so many times, each game a couple times. So it feels nice to be like, I have no clue what's going on. That
Mhm.
actually literally, that you might think that's sarcastic, but I actually really love it. So
Yeah,
who
I'm
knows?
I'm getting to the point in my life where I understand they have all these commercials and spoiler and trailers and everything, and I'm like, I don't want to watch your trailer. Let me see the first one that teases and it's like, oh, okay, like Captain Marvel. It's like, oh, cool, Captain Marvel. This will be really exciting. And please don't show me anything else because
Yeah.
I don't want the movie to be spoiled. I don't want to see any stuff. Just be like, here's this movie. Here's some cool stuff. All right, we'll see you when the movie comes out. That's all I want.
Literally earlier today, I saw a notice that there was a trailer up for a new Pet Cemetery movie. I watched the trailer, and by the end of the trailer, I felt like it had literally explained the entire plot of the movie. I realize it's a remake of an older movie, but still. So,
Yeah, the YouTube's been really bad about playing Kingdom Heart 3 stuff, and I'm like, okay, skip.
I've been trying.
Skip.
I have been trying to avoid a lot of YouTube because yes, there's a lot of people out there playing it and just being like, "Here's the stuff," and I'm like, "Nope, not gonna do it."
Yeah. All right, and with that, I am heading to bed, guys.
Good night, yo.
Night, Zerg.
Good night, everybody.
So for my final thought, I'm just gonna jump in because I am tired and I'm also gonna be going when I'm done saying this. Kingdom Hearts 3 is awesome, although my possible I've not made it nearly as far as Dirk, but my possible concern is that they may be trying to fit in like a ton of stuff for combat. And that's good, but only to the extent that you understand what's happening. You don't want to feel like, oh God, I'm pressing these buttons and this is happening and that's happening and what's going on? You know, I'm not far enough to make any sort of educated opinion on that. But that's my potential concern. But to get away from Dirk's, my final thought is earlier this week I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp on Netflix, and it was a really fun movie. And if you haven't taken the time to see it, I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw they added that to Netflix, and I was like, holy crap. But they won't give us any of the older Marvel stuff, so I can freaking just watch it just watch it all. But I can watch all of this, like, Phase 3 stuff on Netflix right now.
Like Infinity War.
Mike.
Eventually.
Oh my god.
Well, we know he's not available next weekend, so at some point, Mike, at some point. You guys have a good night. I am very tired.
Night, B.
Where's the exit? Am I muted?
No. Goofball. All right, Mike.
Got to hang out with Gabe and Austin last weekend. That was cool. And apparently I learned that it's possible to pocket dial someone through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, my brother Thomas had asked me a question on Facebook Messenger because he saw I was signed on, and that's because I have the Messenger app installed on my work phone. So I typed in an answer to him, and I stuck the phone back in my pocket. And then sometime later, maybe like 15, 20 minutes later, I feel my personal phone buzzing. It's a call from Thomas. It's like, hey, what's up? And he tells me that I've pocket dialed him twice from Facebook Messenger because apparently, like, I didn't lock the screen properly when I put the phone back in my pocket, and something was registering as taps that actually, like, tried to call him through Facebook Messenger on his phone. He said he started hearing a really weird noise and he didn't know what it was because Facebook Messenger, it has its own special ringtone thing. He couldn't figure out what was going on, but then he realized that I was pocket dialing him through Facebook, and it was weird.
I just recently had somebody pocket dial me on Facebook Messenger. My brain is telling me it was Jars.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if that's right. But, like, just recently, I looked down, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a mistake, so I just didn't answer it. It's like, why would you be calling me through Facebook? How does that even work?
Yeah. And I'm wondering how that
said, yeah, that
happen.
Was me.
Yeah, because I would have thought that you would have had to have, because, like, the reason you can't normally operate a touchscreen through gloves is because you don't have the right electrical connectivity on the tip of the glove unless you have a special glove where there's a little patch of fabric that lets you do that. But why would the screen still be getting enough of whatever kind of touches to stay active and not go to sleep while it was sitting in my pocket, and also enough to pocket dial someone? It just doesn't make sense. because when I pulled my work phone out of my pocket, it wasn't on the lock screen. The screen hadn't gone to sleep. It was still looking at Facebook Messenger, and somehow it had navigated to like Thomas's profile, and the button to call him was up on the screen, visible.
So, Mike?
Yes.
I'm going to ask a potentially inappropriate question.
Okay.
Do you have a hole in that pocket?
Like maybe in the very bottom of it, but that wouldn't touch the screen.
And boxers or briefs? No, actually, don't answer that part. Anyway, but yeah, I have been butt dialed on Facebook Messenger, and I have also accidentally Facebook Messengered people before, but I'm glad it happened to you, so you didn't think I was crazy. All right then. Anything else?
No.
All right. Then I guess that just leaves me. Hey, remember last week I asked everybody about Monday Night Magic and whether or not I should bother doing an audio version? Well, it turns out, yes, I should. So all of the responses I got were, yes, please give us an audio version when it's available again. And I went, okay. You're getting an audio rip. Is that okay? People are like, yes, that's fine. Okay. So, MTG Cast is now partially, sort of, kind of, up and running again, thanks to David from Hipsters of the Coast. David McCoy, who is their tech guy. And he has done an amazing job of rebuilding MTG Cast from scratch and reclaiming the RSS feeds and everything. So the Monday Night Magic RSS feed works again.
Nice.
Yeah, and I have uploaded an audio rip of the first two missed episodes, 636 and 637, I think, to that. So they're there now. And by the time this episode goes public and everyone can hear it, the other two will be up too, because I'll probably do those, if not tonight, then tomorrow, while I'm waiting on another video to render. So that's really cool. And again, you're getting a straight audio rip. I forgot to actually, in the first episode, 636, I forgot to actually wait until the episode started and cut there and then rip the audio out. So you get all of the YouTube video audio, including when I hit record and then we talk about something for a couple minutes and then I start the show. That's where I used to start the actual Monday Night Magic. So in that one, I forgot to actually cut that part. So my bad. But in this, from all the others, you'll get just the show. You won't get any audio, any intro or outro music, no editing of any sort, no silence truncation or noise removal or levelating, none of that. You're just getting audio ripped from the video and dropped into the RSS feed. And that's it, because as I said last week, the cost benefit analysis of doing Monday Night Magic just isn't there. Like it's almost negative, really. Mm-hmm. The audio version, that is. So hopefully you'll still you won't mind and you'll enjoy it. And if not, hopefully you'll come actually watch us do it live or watch it on YouTube so you can see what we're doing. Like on this show, we don't have face cams, but on Monday Night Magic, all three of us do. So you can actually see our shenanigans. And our hiccups, apparently. Damn it. So yeah, that's a bit of good news. I found out, actually, while we were recording Monday Night Magic, a listener, I think it was Jay Barlow, was like, MTG Cast says it's working. And I went, what? Why didn't I tell anybody? Because he didn't tell us that it was working. So, and it turns out it's because he didn't want everyone to know, because he wanted to sort of slow roll it and stress test it. I'm like, but you put it on the website.
Oh,
he's like, yeah, I sort of didn't count on the number of people that actually would visit the site. I was like, But
so they didn't publicize it because they didn't want everyone to Zerg rush it.
Yeah, although we've now mentioned it in the MTGcast Discord server that he set up for us, to keep us surprised of what's going on, and there's still only a small handful of people that are uploading again, but I'm sure that number will grow as word spreads. So, but yeah, so that's awesome, and I'm very happy that people will be able to get off my case about how come I haven't gotten a new Monday Night Magic since like December. Like, well, because it's been broken since December, but they're working on it. Well, now I don't have to do that anymore because they're just there. People could be like, I haven't got it. Oh, here's one. So that'll be great for my, frame of mind. Ouch. But anyway, so that's that. Other stuff that's going on. Hey, I'm doing 2 videos a day over on YouTube. At least for the short-term foreseeable future. So today's Thursday, because we're recording the Mana Pool. Tomorrow, the 5th episode of both the Legend of Zelda stream and the 5th episode of the World of Light from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate goes up on Sunday, the 6th Legend of Zelda, and the 3rd episode of Hand of Fate. So the first one from not the Roguelikes for Charity stream goes up. So that's cool. Because I love that game. And just watching through it again, like while I was editing, I'm like, man, I love this game. It's like, so that's a good sign. But I'm slowly getting caught up. Mortal Kombat just finished, I think yesterday? Day before? I don't know. I erase it from my schedule over here on the whiteboard once I make it public, so I don't remember now. And when you're doing 2 videos a day, it is amazing how quick you'll lose track of that. And it's immediate, like, because I'm working, 2 and 3 and 4 days ahead. And when I wake up in the morning and the alarm goes off, I look up there and go make that video public. And then it falls out of my brain again. So, yeah. But right now it's Legend of Zelda, the World of Light in Smash Brothers, and Hand of Fate starting very soon. And then Slay the Spire, the thick silent run. THICC. Oh, she thick, though. That will start going up soon, too. And then I have to start recording new stuff, because this whole thing of doing 2 videos a day for almost 2 weeks, I'm slowly getting caught up, which is awesome. Which means I can now stream whatever the hell I want and make videos out of it. Because I'm doing 2 videos a day, so I'm going to get caught up. This is great, Mike.
That's pretty awesome.
Like I realized earlier today while I was talking to Steph, I was like, wow, I've only got 9 non-World of Light videos left to do. Holy crap, I got to start recording new stuff. But then, since there's probably a World of Light video going up damn near every day, it's still a week's worth of videos. So it's not like there's a big rush. But that's really great that my plan of doubling my workload so I could have less stress, which I know doesn't make sense, but it totally makes sense, is working. And I'm very excited. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on over on YouTube. Here on Twitch, obviously we do Monday Night Magic and the Mana Pool. Those are on YouTube as well. And now you can listen to the audio version of both again. Ooh, instead of just the Mana Pool's audio version. Ooh, and don't worry, I'm not changing anything about the way I do the Mana Pool's audio. Nobody panic. It's not going to be a straight audio rip here because the Mana Pool is my baby. Whereas Monday Night Magic is someone else's baby that they handed me. And I know I've been doing it for like so long that it's my baby, but it's not my baby, so I'm the bad parent in that I don't care about it as much as I do my baby. Know what I mean? You know what I mean. I still do care about it, obviously, but not as much. But anyway, but yeah, over on Twitch I stream stuff. Not lately. It's actually been a week since I had a non-podcast stream because of things keep happening to me, but I think I'm in a good headspace now, and things aren't happening to me, so we should be good to start streaming again this weekend and going forward. So I stream all kinds of stuff, all the stuff that gets turned into YouTube videos, like World of Light and Legend of Zelda and Hand of Fate and Slay the Spire, and also stuff that doesn't get turned into YouTube videos, like XCOM Enemy Within, and I played a pinball stream a while back. That was a lot of fun with Pinball FX3, and I'm going to be doing some Mario Odyssey at some point soon. Just all kinds of stuff that does and doesn't get turned into YouTube videos. So by all means, come check it out at twitch.tv/themanapool. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/themanapool. And yeah, hell yeah. So of course, that leads me to tell you that if you want to help support what I do with this absolutely ridiculous amount of content, and remember, this is all a one-man show, not the podcasts. But all the work is a one-man show. So all the production and everything is just me. Like, the dorks are the idea guys. They come up with what we're doing for the episode, and after the episode's done, it's all me. So I don't have an editor or any of that stuff. This is all me. So when I say I do 2 YouTube videos a day, and in theory... Okay, wait, there are 7 days in a week, 2 podcasts, and I take 2 days off. So in theory, I stream non-podcasts 3 nights a week. You know, when horrible things aren't happening. And the 2 podcasts, and all of that, all the editing, everything, it's all me. So, this is very much a full-time job. So if you would like to help support what I do with this massive full-time job of content creation, then you can go to patreon.com/themanapool and become a lifeguard. Because pool, lifeguard, get it? Without lifeguards, you can't open the pool, because then people die. And so without lifeguards, I couldn't have the mana pool, because then I would die. Because I couldn't pay rent or buy food. Yeah. Or I'd have to get like a normal day job, and my soul would die. Apparently, that's the story of my life. So lifeguard, yeah, makes sense. The uncommon lifeguards get a silver name in the Manapool Discord server, and they get early access to YouTube videos, which, depending on how far ahead I am, you get early access to a lot of stuff. Like right now, I've got 4 videos that people have early access to, and it would have been 5, but we had to record the show, you see. And I had to eat food. Don't forget the food part. That's important. So at any given point, you're going to have hopefully 2 at the minimum, 6 or 8 maximum early access to videos. So that's awesome. Because once they're done and uploaded to YouTube, they go on Patreon immediately, no matter how far out they're going up. So yay. But you also get early access to Manapool episodes too. Huh? Yeah. And the rare lifeguards get the gold name in the Manapool Discord server, the early access to YouTube videos in the Manapool, and get access to the odds and ends, all the stuff recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool that is uncensored and unfiltered, and is also horribly far behind, but that's because horrible things keep happening to me. And once... I think if I get one more video up, which will cover the second half of Sunday, then I've got to get I've got like 5 or 6 of the odds and ends that are due to go up, halfway done. I just have to do the other half and then listen through them. And I listen through them at 1.5 speed, usually while playing Hearthstone or Heroes of the Storm. So it keeps me engaged and able to do it. Because if I just had to sit here and listen to audio, I would either doze off or not listen. But if I'm doing something else, I'd pay more attention. Does that make sense to you? Because it makes sense to me, but it sounds dumb saying it out loud.
No, I get it.
Okay. Like, it gives me something to focus the rest of my attention on so that I can listen comfortably.
Yeah.
Because I can't just listen. That's just not a thing I can do. That's why I primarily listen to podcasts when I'm driving, is because I can't just sit here and listen to a podcast. Like Mike can just sit and listen to music. That makes me insane. I can't do that.
If I try to do something else, then I won't hear the music, really.
Yeah, see, I'm the other way. If I'm trying to just listen to the music, I will lose track and do something else. and not hear the music. But if I'm doing something else while the music plays, I will listen to the music. It's very strange. But anyway. Also, I found that the Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 3 soundtracks are great for showering. Metal Gear Solid, not so much. Because when the alert music plays, I start like grabbing up the shower curtain and trying to cover myself up and hide. But anyway, so what was I saying? Right, odds and ends. Right, those will be getting caught up very soon. And finally, the Mythic Lifeguards get a Mythic Orange name in the Discord server. It's very schmancy. And you get the early access stuff, the odds and ends, and you get the sponsorship shout out on both podcasts and here on both podcasts and on the end screen for all of the YouTube videos. So I would like to thank our Mythic Lifeguards, Kim Ho, Al, Paul David, Lance Delicious, Timu Hellas Haryu, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Alex Gonzalez, Jeff Spencer, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Sophia Brattain, Casey, Fayan Says, Danny Liao, Jason Doan, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Gothic Man, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum. Pause so chat can point out that is in fact Stark's name. Keith Moody, John Parker, Aleph Cat, Dan Holm. Oh. Sorry, I got like an itch that felt like something bit me right in the small of my back. Okay, where was I? Dan Holm, Bartle, Mike Millerburn, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. So no, they didn't tickle me. I think they bit me, or maybe they pinched me. I don't know. It's awkward. It's very strange, though. So yes, thank you to the Mythic Lifeguards. I quite literally could not do it without you, and without all of you other lifeguards on patreon.com/themanapool. Yay.
Yay.
So with that, we will wrap this episode up. This has been The Manapool number 542. Thank you all so very much for listening, and go play some Magic.